Hi everybody, it's Brian from Keto Wizards, and I'm here today to make a quick little video for you guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to make America's #1 condiment. What is that? Well, it's a classic, right? It's ketchup. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, Brian, ketchup is kind of sugary, right? It's got a lot of sugar in it. And yes, that is very true. But here at Keto Wizards, we are all about food alchemy, which basically means that we're going to transform everyday things into good, healthy keto options. And so the main way that we do that with ketchup is a sugar substitute, and particularly we like to use the Lakanto monk fruit, which is actually a erythritol and monk fruit combined. It's a great little product, and we use it for a lot of things that we need to add some sweetness to. It's not going to spike your blood sugar or anything like that. So the recipe basically calls for 2 cups of water, and then we've got 12 ounces of organic tomato paste. Again, the Lakanto, we've got 3/4 of a cup of that, and 2/3 of a cup of a good balsamic vinegar. And you want to make sure that you get one that doesn't have any added sugar to it. Real balsamic vinegar, when it's brewed, will actually have its own natural sugars in it. So it'll make it get thick, and it's really, really nice stuff. So please make sure that you get yourself a good balsamic vinegar. As far as spices, we're gonna keep it real simple today. And we're gonna do just 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm gonna throw in a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of paprika, and my secret ingredient for this is a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. And that's gonna give it just that little bit of that ketchup flavor that you're used to getting when you go buy ketchup at the grocery store. All right, so let's get started. We'll just combine this stuff right into our measuring cup here. All right, and once I get this in here, I'm just gonna kind of whisk this up a little bit, get this tomato paste kind of broken down inside here a little bit, just to make everything easier to combine. And again, guys, ketchup, especially if you go, now you can go to the store, right? And you can buy some pre-made keto ketchup. There's some pretty good ones out there, but they're really kind of expensive. And this is gonna save you a lot of money. The organic tomato paste here, I think we paid like $1.50 for each can. If you choose to not go the organic route, you can get even cheaper than that. But this makes this recipe right here makes about 3 cups, which is considerably more than the small bottles for the keto ketchup that you're gonna get that can be, $8, $9 a bottle. And a lot of this stuff, you should already have in hand. I think like balsamic vinegar is an absolute staple for me. I've gotta have it all the time. So I'm just gonna add that in, just kind of drizzle that in a little bit, mix it all up together. Next, gonna mix in our Lakanto. Again, it was about 3/4 of a cup. You can see already it's taken on a nice consistency, what you would kind of start to expect from what ketchup is supposed to be. We're just gonna dump in all of our spices all at once here. All right, and then I'm just gonna transfer this to the stove into a little pot. And we're gonna turn it on about medium heat, depending on your stove. If it runs a little hot, you might want to go a little lower than that. You don't really want it to splatter everywhere and all that. But essentially, we're going to let this just kind of simmer for about 25-30 minutes. I'm going to put the lid on so we're back. Our ketchup, I think, is pretty much done here. It did simmer for about 25-30 minutes. Got it just sitting on low right now just to make sure that it's done with all of its spitting and sputtering. And give it a little bit of taste. All right, so you know what? It absolutely does taste like ketchup. Except, in my opinion, I think it's better than stuff that you're going to get at the store. You definitely get a much better tomato flavor out of it. You get the nice balsamic vinegar in there, which is really, really good. Just a little bit of bite from that. All of the spices that we put in there, they all pretty much come through really, really well. Especially the allspice, you get a nice aroma as that's cooking, obviously. But also, you get just a little bit of that allspice on the back end, and it just makes for a really, really nice ketchup. One little pro tip for you guys that I always like to do is blend it up. Now, this actually has a really great texture just the way it is, but by using a little hand mixer here, we're going to blend it up and put maybe a little bit more air into it, give it a little bit more volume and a little bit more body, and it's just going to make it really, really nice. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this is still pretty hot, so make sure that you start it at your lowest level. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that started, and then I'm going to raise it up. And as you can see, we're getting some air bubbles in there right now. So like I said, we're just putting a little bit of air in here, picking up the volume a little bit. And these little hand mixers, man, they're great for doing sauces, great for making soups and things like that. Highly recommend that you get something like that. All right, so there we go. Looks like ketchup to me. Get that off. Now I've got a jar here that it's just a repurposed jar. Actually, I had this thing probably had spaghetti sauce in it or something from somewhere. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that right into my jar. Take my little spatula, get all of this goodness. Of course, there's different things that you could do. You want to make a spicy ketchup? Very easy to do. Add a little bit of whatever your favorite kind of pepper sauce is. Maybe a little bit of cayenne, maybe some jalapeno, whatever you want to do. All right, so that makes about 3 cups, and conveniently, this jar that I happen to just pull out of my pantry holds 3 cups. Awesome, right? All right, so the other thing that you can do is with this now finished ketchup, I like to actually use this not only just, as you would normally use ketchup, but then when I go to make my barbecue sauce, which we will have a video on, this is what I'm going to use for a base for my ketchup. Sorry, this is what I'm going to use for a base for my barbecue sauce. Again, we'll have that video linked down below, as well as the macros and the recipe for the Keto Ketchup. Or better yet, the Keto Wizards ketchup. Thanks, everybody.